On today's episode of SEO Lunch, we see the forest from the trees as we look at Evergreen SEO. Hey everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of SEO Lunch. I'm your host, Dan, and SEO Lunch is your weekly look at the latest and greatest in inbound marketing tips, search engine optimization tricks, and other resources to help you with your website. As always, this episode is brought to you by our new Embrace WP service. Go to embracewp.com to find out how you can get affordable updates to your WordPress site, managed, monitored, code tweaks, performance reviews, search engine optimization setups, and more. It's a really, really great package. I recommend checking it out. So what are we talking about today? What we're actually talking about is a question that's asked by a lot of people is what is Evergreen SEO? So Evergreen SEO is something that's consistently talked about and searched for, so I wanted to kind of shed my light on it. Evergreen SEO is basically content that is always fresh, like consistently fresh. And what I mean by that isn't something that consistently updates, but something that you post it now, chances are very good that in the future that is still going to be the case. For example, we always talk about pizza sauce on this show, so I'm going to give that as an example again. If I post an article that details the best pizza sauce recipe, that recipe isn't going out of style. Unless one of the ingredients becomes poisonous or there's some sort of evidence or we lose the ingredient, to the world, it becomes extinct or whatever happens. That recipe for pizza sauce is going to be just as good today as it is 10, 20 years from now. And that's an example of Evergreen SEO. Other examples would be like historical posts, a post about Abraham Lincoln is going to be the same today as it is 30 days from now. It's the same guy, he said this, left the same life, stuff like that. Top posts, how-tos. So the top 10 that might change a little bit if newer content. So if you have top 10 WordPress themes, for example, and new WordPress themes come out, there'd be more of that coming on. So how can we sort of optimize evergreen content, I guess, is the best way to look at this too. Because there's a lot of ideas here that aren't expounded upon enough. And there's a couple little things I want to go over. So I direct your attention to my screen here. So what I've put up here is just a quick little post here just to show you what it looks like on WordPress, and it's how to change the oil in a Toyota Corolla, right? So we look at that, right? And we look at the permalink for our website, right? Now there's a couple things with this. Changing the oil in a Toyota Corolla is pretty broad, so we want to sort of minimize it. So we might say in a 2014 Toyota Corolla, all right? Now, I also recommend on the permalink specifically changing this too. So adding 2014 Toyota Corolla to that permalink as well. And the reason we're going to do that is that in 2015, we can create another blog post called How to Change the Oil in a 2015 Toyota Corolla. Now, there's a little bit of stuff here that gets a little wonky, and I promise, in a future episode, probably very soon, be talking about the canonical URL tag, which you can use if your content is very similar. So if you have a lot of duplicate content from post to post. So if the changing oil in a 2014 Corolla doesn't change much to 2015, sort of ways to get around sort of being slapped by Google or other search engine sites when people crawl for your stuff. Because you do have to watch out there. But we've changed it to how to change the oil in 2014 Corolla. And this is very specific. It's always going to be the same. Unless there's a recall and they have to change everything. Again, these are all very extenuating circumstances. That's going to be the same today as it's going to be 10 years from now. If somebody in 2024 is looking to change the oil in a 2014 Toyota Corolla, that step is still going to look the same in this article, and this content is still going to be fresh to them. So you always want to kind of optimize and maximize it, make sure it's very, very, very specific. You also want to marry this with long-tail keywords. So in a more recent episode as well, we talked about long-tail keywords becoming the new trend for 2014 and most likely on and on. So answering questions for people, how-tos or what is this or what is that, where is that, putting those kind of things in your titles and in your permalinks too. But again, making it fresh, easy content. We'll also probably talk about doing content audits in a future episode as well. But creating evergreen content also makes it easier for you to manage your content because there's a lot less to do. If I'm doing something that isn't evergreen, something that's like, a news story or a fashion trend or a fad or something like that, that's only going to be valid for the next month or so, there's a lot more cleanup I have to do going forward. I still might want to go through and change some of my links around as time goes on. I might have added things that I can add to certain articles, but it makes it a much easier process. And that's why Evergreen SEO is so sought after, because it's consistently fresh. If I need to know the answer to this question, it'll be the same answer 10 years from now. Makes it really simple. I recommend doing it. If you guys have any other questions, please let us know in the comments below. You can also subscribe to us at slowcupstudio.com/subscribe. As always, this is brought to you by Embrace WP, our wonderful affordable monthly service where we update, back up your WordPress, monitor it, perform custom code tweaks to your website, all for one affordable monthly rate. Please check it out at embracewp.com. Thanks a lot, guys.